Well, there's the push rods and the linkages installed, and then I cut loose the surfaces, ailerons and flaps. This is the flaps on the back and the slide in the front. That came out pretty good. I cut it loose after I put the push rods in. Yeah, it worked pretty good. Half flaps, full flaps. Pretty interesting. I've had airplanes with flaps on them before, but never with a slide in the front. And down on the other end, we reconnect this. Yeah, now it's down there on the ailerons. Or aileron, as there's one per wing, I guess. That servo's a little strange. It jitters a lot. If I put it on just manual, there's the jitter I don't like. You can even hear it. And that's those big 32 gram servos. Sorry, I got a phone call. And that jitters right there. That's with the servo tester such that I'm rotating it. Not too happy about that. We'll see how it does in the actual flight controller. I was thinking my battery on this servo tester is low voltage, but the flat servos don't do that. And when it's on sweep, it doesn't seem to do it that much. So I'll charge this battery overnight and see what happens. Well, I was putting on the control horns here, ailerons, flaps, and one underneath that doesn't stick all the way through. And I decided to go ahead and put the nylon pieces right here in the wings while I was at it. I was going to let it sit in that position overnight. And I almost screwed up. Because you see here, the pieces that go down in those wings are two different lengths. And just by chance, I put this one in the front, which is where it goes. Then I picked up the second one to put it in and went, oh, wait a minute. They are different sizes. And lucky for me, this is the way they go. The short one goes in the back, the long one goes in the front. This is the second wing. I was just catching up the second wing to where the first wing is. It's Thursday. I had a doctor's appointment yesterday, just a teeth cleaning at the dentist, which was pretty good. Tomorrow I have a regular doctor's appointment for follow-up on my pneumonia. They have to wait 6 weeks after you start recovering to take another x-ray to make sure the pneumonia is gone, because it takes that long for the x-rays to fully clear, they say. That's what they told me. We'll see what they do tomorrow. Well, I'm finishing up the second wing, and I'm going to do something different right here. I had a lot of trouble putting the screw on the bottom when I put these linkages through the hole in the control horn. Just getting the screw started, putting it on my finger. It's a very small nut. So I'm going to take that control horn off, put these two on it, and then put it back on. Then I'll cut the links and put the other linkage on the end and fix that up. There we go. They're bolted on now. Now I'll put the control horn back on the servo, and that'll be much easier. I struggled with that on the other one kind of badly. Alright, that went much better. I just dropped the nut down in the cavity where the servo is. Kept having trouble getting it out when I was doing the other one. This turns out to be much easier. Now I'll bolt it back on there, and then we'll cut the push rods to length and put another end on it and get this finished. I finished the second wing half as far as I'm going to finish it now. I have not glued in the connector right here that'll be connecting the tails to the front. Got to put some epoxy or something in it and then pull it flush with that collar. I'm not going to do that till later. And then of course I'm not sure yet if I'm going to be putting the antenna for RC control through this wing or the other wing, or video transmitter, etc. So I haven't put this pod on yet. I'm going to hold off on that until I make those decisions. I still do have the two little carbon fiber rods to put in the aileron. I'll do that next time I've got the epoxy out. Alright, so here's the flaps and slats. They look like they go down just about the same, which is good. Elsewise, they would act as ailerons when they go down and roll the airplane. So there's that. And here's the ailerons. You can see when one goes up, the other goes down. Both the ailerons and the flaps and slats are on Y connectors. Hopefully I've got all that physically set up right, and one flap won't be higher than the other, and the ailerons will be pretty much even. It seems like it right now. We'll just hope. I did create a problem when I was cutting out the foam to free up this flap. You can see that hole in it. I'm going to glue a piece of white paper in that hole so maybe it camouflages it and it doesn't show. I just cut a little too deeply. But that's basically all I'm going to do to the wings right now. Like I say, when I have the epoxy out for another reason, I'm going to epoxy the carbon fiber rod in the ailerons. And then I got other little problems. After all this is put together, I'm going to have to use the DAP to fix little places. These right here is where one of the nuts on the linkage fell down inside the servo thing, and I turned it over and tapped, and my fingernails, it's just 2 taps, my fingernails dented the foam. So I'll be putting DAP on that in the future. On the other side, the clamps I use to clamp it has little places in it. Like I say, DAP near the end, just before I balance it, will take care of all that. So I think that's pretty much completes the wing for right now. Like I say, I'm not gluing in the 1/8" stereo jacks for the control wires to go back to the tail servos yet. And I'm not gluing on the pod covers yet. But other than that, I think I'm going to move on to the next step, which is building up the tail part. I'm just going to leave that sitting right there. Thank you, everyone.